Guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the new Tarte Big Blush Book 3 they've come out with recently. This is a $60 palette, but you're getting a lot of products in here. So we're going to talk a little bit about this, but we're also going to compare it to the Tarte Big Blush Book 2 that they came out with last year, and also compare it to the holiday palette they came out with, as well as in comparison to their typical regular single pan blushes. So first of all, I will tell you that the new Tarte Big Blush Book 3 is made in China, as well as this one and as well as this one. So these are all made in China. The regular ones are made in the United States. So there is a difference there in where they're made, but that does not just change whether or not Tarte is cruelty free. Just because it's made in China, it's not sold in China. So there's the difference. Tarte is a cruelty free brand, so I don't know if you can tell me anything different about that, but on the packaging and everything, it still does state that they are cruelty free. So now, as in comparison, last year's palette, the Big Blush Book 2, looked like this. The colors in here are very, very pretty. But the problem with this one was that the colors are very powdery. These are not the typical Tarte formula. The typical Tarte formula is a little bit harder pressed. You're still going to get a ton of pigmentation off of the regular formula, but not this one here. You're going to get a ton of pigmentation and a lot of kick up. These are very, very powdery, so I would say if you got this one and you were thinking this one was the same way, I will tell you proudly that they are not the same way. These are very, very... I don't know if they didn't press them hard enough or what was going on here, but these are very soft to the touch. If you enjoy a more softer formula, you would probably enjoy these a lot more. Versus the typical formula, which is the harder pans, which is more or less like what this is like too. These are not exactly what the typical single ones are, but they're very close. And I would say, as in comparison, these two are very, very close. So I would say the Big Blush Book 3 and the holiday palette that came out with last year that had all these different shades in it on both sides. So as you can tell, it has shades on both sides here. This was a very, very nice collection. This was like $44, and I highly recommended this one. This one was absolutely amazing. And I will tell you, this is very, very similar. So I think these colors are beautiful. The colors are gorgeous. They're a little bit more peachy toned than last year's palette. Let me go ahead and pull up last year's again. Last year's palette, I felt like were a little bit more neutral, a little bit more, I don't know, like warm toned. And this year is a little bit more peachy. I don't know if you can tell a difference or not, but these are a little bit more peachy, and these are a little bit more warm toned. I loved the colors in both of these, honestly. I'm a blush freak, so I love getting blushes, especially when you can get a great deal on these. You are getting 7 blushes in here, as well as a highlighter in here. And then all of these blushes are, I think they're newer blushes. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure they're newer blushes. So you're getting Hearted, Lavish, Posy, Mindful, Peachy, Rad, Kindred, and then your highlighter is Spirited. So you are getting a highlighter in here, so you're getting 7 blushes and a highlighter, so you're getting a good amount of product. You're getting 8 products for $60. If you use the code BOXYAugust, I think that's the code, you can get $10 off, even though it'll tell you on the site that, hey, you can't use a discount code with it. You still can. So I got this palette for $50, so I think that was a steal of a deal, especially since this is the same quality as this. Now this is not the same quality. These two are not the same quality as this, so it's a little bit weird, but these are just a little bit different. I don't know what they do differently with these than what they didn't do with these, other than the fact that these are made in China and this is not. But as in comparison to the first one I would say if you got it, or the second book, I would say if you got this one and you were highly disappointed, then don't be disappointed in this one, because you are gonna love this one. This one's really, really nice. I am gonna go ahead and swatch these for you. And the other thing I want to note is that these do pop out. So all you have to do is push up underneath of these and they will pop out, but that is they do that for a reason, so that you can get yourself a Z palette and put them all down into a Z palette, which is what I did with last year's. Last year's, I felt like this packaging is so big that I'm like, what am I going to do with this? This is huge. So what I did was I went onto the Sephora website and I found a Makeup Forever little 10. This is their Z palette, what they call it. And what I did was, this is the, I don't know what the size of this one is. If I find out the size, then I'll put it below. But it fits every single blush in here perfectly. I'll go ahead and put them in so I can show you. And then what I also did was, I was going to go ahead and label these with a label maker. But I was like, that's very time consuming and I couldn't find my label maker. So I just honestly just took on the back of them and wrote what they were. So if I wanted to ever pop them back into the pan, into this palette, then I totally could. There was no problem whatsoever. So all you have to do is push these out of the blush pan, the blush palette right here, and they come completely out, and then you just push these out and you can just set these right down into the Z palette. Let me see if I can get them all in here really quick so I can show you how they fit in here just perfectly. Let's see, we've got, and they're not hard to get out, they're not hard to put back in, they go back in very easily. All you have to do is just pop them back into that little hole that they came out of, and you have no issues whatsoever. But like I said, the Tarte Blush Book 2 is a little bit softer, so the formula to these is not the same quality as the new one. So again, now I've got them all into the pan, so here they all are. They fit into there just perfectly. So if you wanted just a pan of palettes, or if you wanted a palette that has just those blushes in it, this pan fits them perfectly. You can get bigger palettes. I have the bigger one right here, and I'm not sure exactly how many this one is going to hold, but I think I got the wrong one this time. I wanted this one again, so I'm probably going to go ahead and just order another one of these. I love these palettes. They work great for putting blushes and eyeshadows and everything like that in. They're very sturdy. They do come with a little foam insert that you can put right on top of your blushes so that they're very secure. If you travel with them, they're not going to go anywhere. I think these are excellent palettes. So if you do not want to keep it in the big container here, mine's completely empty now. If you don't want to keep them in there, then you don't have to. Now let's go ahead and do swatches of the new blush book. So that way there, if you were interested in it, you can see what the colors look like. So we're going to start at the top and we're going to work our way around. We're going to start here. This is Heated. Heated has a little bit of shimmer to it. So if you were concerned about shimmers being in some of these, there are shimmers in some. So here is Heated. So there's what Heated looks like. Heated is a beautiful, beautiful color. It looks like a watermelon shade. And then we have, I need to grab a cloth so I can wipe my finger off. Then we have Lavish. Lavish is the next shade. Lavish is more like a taupey, not really a taupey, but like a mauve-y shade, a very light mauve. And like I said, these are a little bit harder pressed, so, but they still have good pigmentation. So there is Lavish, as you can tell right there. That one's a little bit more like a neutral skin tone. And then we're down to Posied, and Posie's a pink one. I like that shade right here. That looks very appropriate for the spring. So here is Posie. So there's what Posie looks like. Posie is really, really pretty too. And then we have Mindful. Mindful again is almost like that bare, like that nude color onto your cheeks. And that would be beautiful in, like, if you're just doing like a very bold eye look and you just want a neutral eye, neutral cheek, that would be great for that. And then we have Peachy, and Peachy is more of a sheen shade. It's not super opaque, so it's going to be more sheen onto your cheeks. As you can see here, it's got a little bit of a sheen to it. So it's beautiful, but it's a little bit more sheen. And then we have Rad. Rad is more of a, I would say that's more of a, like a, I don't know, it reminds me of summer for some reason. This one here does. And this one is Rad. So there's what Rad looks like. Again, these shades all swatch beautifully. They're going to go into the cheeks, of course, less pigmented than what they're going to look when I'm swatching them, because you're not going to be putting them onto your cheeks with your fingers. Then we have Kindred. Kindred has sparkles in it as well. Not a whole lot. I think the sparkles in Kindred are very light. So there's Kindred. All these colors look very beautiful though. As you can tell, they're very neutral colors so that you could wear them for everyday looks. And then your highlighter here, which is Spirited. Spirited looks like this. It's a very beautiful golden shade. So there is Spirited. And there's your highlight. So there are all the colors swatched. As you can tell, they're actually very, very pigmented. They look beautiful in the skin. There's no skipping. They wear for a long time onto the cheeks. I just think these are very, very nice. These, again, I would say are most comparable to the holiday palette that they came out with last year. And then these together are very comparable, I would say, to these. They're not exact, but they're very comparable. So I think if you were thinking about getting these, I would say jump on board, get them. Use that code BOXYAugust. I'm pretty sure that's what the code is. And get yourself $10 off so you can get this whole giant palette for $50, and then just go ahead and grab yourself one of these. These are very affordable. I think these are like $14, something like that. And then you've got your blushes in here, and you can kind of keep this somewhere, so if you ever want to put them back into there, you can totally do that too. So I do recommend this palette. I think it is a very, very good one. I think it's going to blend onto your cheeks very nicely. You've got a ton of colors to work with, so it's not something that you're stuck with one certain tone. You've got a variety of shades to work with in that palette. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this little review. Thank you guys so much for watching it. Let me know, do you have this palette? Are you thinking about getting it, or were you going to pass on it until you saw swatches and I told you how good it was? Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.